Hi, boys and girls. So the story we're going to read is the Monsters, Inc. one. Let me find it. Just finished the Bugs one yesterday. Here we go. Monsters, Inc. The Last Laugh. Ever since Monsters, Inc. had made the changeover from collecting scream energy to collecting laugh energy from human children, Mike Wazowski has gotten his reputation as the funniest monster in the company and #1 in the laugh collecting department. Feeling funny today? Sully asked Mike on the laugh floor one morning. Sully was the president of Monsters, Inc. and Mike's best friend. Mike smiled. You bet. You want to hear some new material? So this monster walks into a deli, and just then a chorus of hysterical laughter filled the laugh floor, catching Mike off guard. Hey, said Mike, looking around to see where the laughter was coming from. If you think that's good, wait till you hear the punchline. But Mike quickly realized that the laughter wasn't for him. Across the laugh floor, a group of employees stood groveling around another monster. Mike turned to Sully. Who's the comedian? He asked. You haven't met Stan, our newest recruit? Sully replied, looking surprised. Come on, I'll introduce you. Sully led Mike across the room towards a group of employees. Good morning, Mr. Sullivan, Stan said when he saw Sully approaching. Sully extended a hand in greeting. Please, Stan, call me Sully, he replied. Hey, there's someone I'd like you to meet. Sully turned to Mike, who was standing at his side. Mike Wazowski, this is Stanley Stanford. Stan joined our laugh team yesterday, Sully said to Mike. Then he turned to Stan, and Mike here is our top laugh collector. He has been with us since we started collecting laugh energy, Sully explained, and long before that, too. Mike and Stan shook hands as one of them, Wrangler's Needmans, tapped Stan on the shoulder. Mr. Stanford, he said eagerly, tell them a joke you just told me. Needman turned to Mike. You've just got to hear this one, Mr. Wazowski. Stan seemed reluctant at first, so Mike encouraged him. Come on, Stan, said Mike. Let's hear it. I love a good laugh. Well, all right, Stan replied with a shrug. I was just telling him about the time I met a snowman and his mother. I said to him, hey, Mr. Snowman, where's your mother from? And he said, Alaska. And I said, hey, don't bother yourself. I'll ask her myself. All the employees burst out laughing all over again, everyone except Mike, who couldn't help feeling a tiny bit green in envy. Who did this guy think he was, Mike thought, waltzing in there and stealing all the laughs when it was he, Mike Wazowski, who's been there for so long, honoring his craft, working hard for every giggle, guffle, and chuckle. Mike felt like his reputation as #1 laughter at Monsters, Inc. was being challenged. He had to step up and remind everyone who was the king of laughs, before they all decided that Stan was funnier than he was. Hey, good one, Stan, Mike said when the laughter died down. But have you heard about the one about the skeleton who decided not to go to the party? All eyes turned to Mike as the crowd waited for the punchline. He had no body to go with, Mike explained. A wave of laughter crashed over Mike. He was back on top. But Stan had another joke. That's funny, Mike, he said. Have you heard about the one with the big elephant who couldn't stop charging? The only way to stop him was to take away his credit card. Everyone started laughing at Stan again. Mike's eyes narrowed and determined as he called one of his best jokes to mind. No one could beat him in a joke showdown. As jokes became fast and furious, the employees formed a circle around the two jokesters. Did you hear the story about the oatmeal? Mike said. Aw, never mind. It was a pot of mush. What do you call a chicken at the North Pole? Stan said. Posing a riddle. Lost. Anybody know the difference between a dancer and duck? Mike called out. One dances Swan Lake and the other swims in it. What is a monster's favorite play? Stan asked. Romeo and Juliet. Pretty soon the crowd of employees was laughing so hard, so loud that they could barely hear the jokes. Yet the joke off continued until a moment of panic. Mike completely blanked on all his jokes. The harder he tried to think of a joke, the emptier his mind became. What would we do? What would he say? It was his turn, and the employees' laughter began to die down as they awaited Mike's next joke. As his anxiety grew, Mike began jumping up and down, hopping, jumping his brain, but nothing was coming to him. Then in one of his panicky little jumps, Mike accidentally landed on the edge of a four-wheeled dolly that an employee used to move heavy things around the laugh floor. Wah! Mike cried as the dolly took off, rolling across the room, carrying him with it. Completely off balance and out of control, the employees watched as Mike carried widely across the laugh floor. They fell down, paralyzed by laugh. When Mike landed into a pile of empty card boxes, the joke-off was officially over and Mike was the hands-down winner. Sully and Stan helped Mike out of the pile of boxes. You're a funny guy, Mike Wazowski, Stan said, giving Mike a pat on the back. Mike smiled. Stan wasn't such a bad guy after all. And with two hilarious monsters on the laugh team, Mike thought, just imagine all the laugh energy they could collect. Still, Mike didn't want to let on his dramatic exit had been an accident. So he put his arm around Stan's shoulder and offered him a piece of advice. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, said Mike, it's never underestimate the power of slick slack comedy. And that's the end of the story. So that was Monsters, Inc., The Last Laugh. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. So now for the activity today, I prep for the kids. They usually come on Wednesday, but if you're watching this, you want to do it, go right ahead. So what I did was I provided a white piece of paper, but in white crayon, I wrote each child's name, so then you guys can use watercolor and the kids can try and paint over the paper to try and find their hidden name. I also wrote their name up in the corner so you would know that's the paper to use. But like I said, all you need is a white piece of paper and crayon. And what I did was I wrote their name in the middle of the paper. Then you guys can use some watercolor. You can even mix food coloring and water together. That can create a watercolor. Or if you have watercolors at home, you can just use that too. And the kids just paint on top of the white paper to find their hidden name. So that's the activity today. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.